Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Practice Pulse podcast. I am your host, Dr. Aditi Agarwal, practicing general dentist, as well as co founder of Practice by Numbers. Today, I have the pleasure of having with me Mr. Thomas Passalacqua, who is the brains and founder of Ascend Professional Pathways. So, welcome, Thomas. You are a certified executive coach, and you started in you specialize in professional development, but you started with education, is that right? uh,
Yes.
so that's very cool. So you started in education as a teacher, a founding teacher in New York City, and then transitioned to dental, and that also dental manufacturing sales, which is quite the shift.
Yes.
So I'd love to understand that journey and how you've transitioned from being a teacher to sales to being now an executive coach for dentists.
Yes. Great. Thanks, Aditi. It's great to be here. I appreciate the time with you today. Yes, I started my career as an educator, a teacher. Out of high school when I was younger, I always knew I wanted to help other people. And the easiest way for me to do that when I was young was I'll be a teacher. And did fairly well in that over probably 8 years or so. I got my master's in education, taught in multiple different settings throughout New York City, some which were founding schools. And I was a part of a cohort of teachers who built schools and created new school entities from the ground up. So that was an amazing experience to really build the fabric of a new school setting and bring in a new cohort of students and really understand not just the learning process, but the procedures to, build a community. And it was a great start to my career. Then after that, I wanted to transition and challenge myself in different ways. So I got into randomly dental manufacturing sales. And
How random is that?
so I knew I wanted to, expand myself. And the thought of sales came up a number of times for me because I was a natural communicator. I connected well with people. I felt like that would be a complementary transition from education into a new field. So I was looking at a couple different verticals, but dental just showed an opportunity, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. I know some people in the industry. Let's check this out and see. It was before my wife and I had kids, so it seemed like a great time to take a risk. But yeah, I did fairly well with that because my philosophy of sales was actually from an education perspective. My role in the way I perceived and portrayed myself was to educate my clients or customers and who were dentists, and teach them about the product and the materials and clinically how it can help them. And I really resonated with that approach. And so did those who I interacted with. So I did, really well with that. And then I started to train and mentor other sales reps and do, sales training for the company. And that was started to grow. But then that evolved where I transitioned again into the group dental practice space. So then I was part of a business development team to help grow a management company. So that was another leg in my career journey.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So for the audience who knows, DSOs were growing over the last number of years. So the last 4 years, I was part of a growing practice in the Northeast and really saw that side of the industry of consolidation, acquisitions, and how management companies can really help and bolster individual practices. So it was great to see that growth. And I was part of a team that scaled the company to over 100 locations. So it was pretty wild times.
That's wow. Yeah, that just sounds like the wild. It is crazy how much that has grown and taken off, and
Yes.
how much the whole DSO space has expanded, just from 5 years ago to where it is today.
Yep.
It's incredible to see the way the management companies are coming in to consolidate and also the mindset is shifting. And I'm sure as an executive coach, you can speak a little bit to that as what you are seeing in that shift and in dentistry and among dentists.
Yes, yes, and business owners, not just in dental, but yes, I mean, most of my career has been in dental, and my segue into coaching really came from wanting to go back to education in some sense, because
Mhm,
that's where I felt most aligned.
mhm,
And once I discovered coaching, I started my business and started to gain clients and work with teams and work with business owners. And yes, the mindset really, the common themes I'm seeing are, any leader, owner, business owner, entrepreneur, we all really deal with the same human side or the emotional side of
mhm,
growth. And when you're living that edge of your capacity, your capabilities, your comfort zone, day in and day out,
mhm,
owning a business, leading a team, pushing your abilities, a lot of the emotions can really cloud your vision and take over, or provide, give doubt. And really, a lot of the topics I work on are navigating that uncertainty and that unclarity.
mhm.
And there are some common themes that I see throughout, multiple business owners. And I think most of us are susceptible to those types of challenges.
Mhm. And what kind of themes have you been noticing?
So one, overthinking, right? Like as you're growing a business, you're constantly in your head ruminating about your decisions and your actions and growth in the future, and then your decisions from the past, and you're constantly living that space of, what else do I have to do, making these hard decisions. And then you're constantly overthinking things. And some of my clients say, I'm getting in my own head way too much, or I'm
Mhm.
getting in my own way. Like I'm constantly over analyzing stuff.
Right.
And I'm familiar with that too as a business owner, right? But the work that we do together really allows someone to slow down, pause, and reflect. And through my style of coaching is really deep, reflective work. It's a bit challenging at times too, because you have to kind of challenge your assumptions or challenge your perspectives that
Mhm,
kind of feel comfortable
mhm,
because you're used to them.
mhm,
But that's really where the breakthroughs happen, and you get more objective and
mhm,
less emotional,
mhm,
and you start leading and making decisions from a more objective lens versus the emotional side of things. So you're no longer reacting, you're a bit more proactive and you're a bit more strategic.
mhm,
So, and that work of pausing, reflecting, challenging, your decisions, your behaviors, your actions, your thoughts, your mindset, really allows you to kind of see repetitive patterns, or how your decisions are either leading you to your goals or leading you off track.
I see. I see. That's interesting. And and dentists, no, I know us, right? We're very technical people. And so, has that been very difficult for you as an executive coach to kind of, you know, really be able to connect with people, personalities like us dentists have, and be able to show them a different way or break it down, or kind of help them understand that there are other aspects and how to connect with that.
Yeah, great question, and great topic, because coaching really is a reflective space, and
Mhm,
you have to be ready for that, and you have to be willing to go through that, challenging discussion, or to challenge, your way of thinking.
mhm,
And I would say, if anyone has a significant enough roadblock or hurdle they're trying to get over, or ambition that they want to aspire to achieve,
mhm,
there's motivation there. So I would say, if one is motivated to achieve something, they would be more willing to go through these processes, or to be coached, or to challenge their perspectives. And some personalities gravitate towards that more than others. But if we create the space, get on the same frequency of how someone is communicating, how they are articulating, their, their thoughts and emotions, I generally can match them or meet them at that frequency. And that's one thing I think that served me well from education to sales to business development to coaching, was that ability to really understand and relate to somebody and connect with them on a frequency or a level that is unique to them. And I, as the coach, am being flexible of how I communicate and how I am receiving them. So, that's something as the coach, they have to be really, good at navigating.
And how hard has it been, or how easy has it been for you to kind of navigate that challenge and, get that acceptance, or get dentists to be able to say, yes, I need coaching, and I should definitely look into it, or, and then from that acceptance of I need coaching to then maybe make it actionable.
Sure. So one point would be exposing what would the likely outcome be if you don't intervene. Like if you continue on this path that someone might be on, and generally it's a path that you want to find resolution for, like I said, a challenging path or an ambitious path that you want to, reach your goals. If you keep the status quo and kind of keep operating the way you are, what would be the most likely outcome? And if that is a less favorable outcome than you want, then great. Coaching can be a resource or a support system for you to help you get to where you want to go. So one would be identifying what's the cost of doing nothing. And then two, it's seeing if coaching would be that resource or that support system that you might resonate with and need, versus like, say, a consultant or an advisor to come in. Because coaching is a bit different than some of those other modalities.
How is it different?
So my style of coaching is very reflective and very forward oriented, where I have to understand what the goal is in order to bring my client to meet that goal. And my role as the coach is, really, really listening and connecting with where they are today to where they want to be, and identifying what are the obstacles in the way and how do we navigate those obstacles, all to try to get to what that end point is. Whereas consulting or advising or mentoring is more of giving advice, telling someone a certain philosophy or a certain protocol to do, or, hey, here's what worked for me, maybe it works for you. Whereas my style is not really suggesting any results. It's uncovering the skills and the resources that are already within somebody, and amplifying them as strengths. So I'm not really giving advice or helping someone to tell them what to do. It's a different way of communicating.
Got it. And have you witnessed any breakthroughs?
Oh, it's my most favorite part of being a coach, and I witness amazing moments from those I work with. And yes, breakthroughs, epiphanies, if you will. Some of my clients said, the coaching is better than therapy. And, because it's so action oriented, it gets someone moving right away. It's not theory, it's action and, forward momentum. But yes, there's been amazing moments where we discover solutions that are unique to that individual. Not solutions that I suggested, but solutions they uncovered themselves because they already had it within them. My role, again, is to help peel through those layers to really get through, okay, what's
So
making
just
you
ask
suffer?
the right questions.
Yeah.
Just asking the right questions to be able to uncover sort of what they are not able to see themselves.
Exactly.
That's awesome. But that requires a lot of skill. So that's amazing
Yeah,
that
I
you're able to
appreciate that.
do that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not about having the answers, it's about asking the right questions. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
to discover what's already there. Yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely. That's amazing. What are some of the strategies that you think that leaders can kind of move through, or employ rather, to kind of overcome some of their fears that you have with making certain decisions, you know?
Yeah, if it's overcoming fear and doubt and uncertainty,
Yeah.
I discovered over the times of my own personal growth, but through my coaching, one is taking the time to really reflect, and that's
Mhm.
either inner reflection or outward reflection. But taking time just to think is
Mhm.
such an underrated a task that we can do, really, because we tend to overthink, but are we thinking in an objective lens versus that emotional lens, like I was talking about before? But if you are leading with fear, I would say taking the time to stop and really analyzing, where is that fear coming from?
Mhm.
What's sparking that fear? What is provoking these emotions? And try to really dial in on, can you identify specifically what you are actually afraid of? And then it's taking time to say, all right, is that issue really as dramatic or severe as we are feeling it may be? And if
Mhm.
you try to identify it, put a quantity on it, start to analyze it, and then start to pair solutions to it,
Mhm.
it's really identifying the actions someone can take to overcome that aspect that's causing the fear. Would it allow you to be empowered to get through it?
Mhm.
And I have a system that I myself, navigated, but I use with my clients to overcome fear and to get forward momentum. And it's really based on acting and taking action to get that momentum. Because a lot of times you can identify something but still feel afraid and still feel stuck. And then
Mhm.
you're further analyzing it.
Mhm.
And analyzing is great for a moment, but you can't analyzing it alone is not going to help. You have to then decide to move forward. And we move forward by pairing it with, what's a specific action or behavior that directly influences that aspect that is causing the fear. And then once you get through it, you reflect, oh, I got through what I was afraid of. The world didn't end. I can do this. I have the ability to be successful without those emotions stopping me. And it's this cycle that we go through to, reflecting, analyzing, taking action, that allows someone to get through fear and then build new habits and new soundtracks and new mindsets to empower someone that they are more capable than they feel that they are.
I see. And how long does it typically take you to, say, if somebody were to sign up with you tomorrow? How what how does that work? What does it look like?
How long to get somewhat of a result?
Yeah.
So my style of coaching is really exciting because you can get results within a session or within a few minutes.
Mhm.
And I like to focus on any result or any progress is still progress.
Mhm.
Sometimes, professionals feel like they have to make astronomical progress in order to feel validated or to feel successful. I have to get to this significant point or goal, and then I'll be successful. Yes, it's great to have, high aspirations, but at the same time, if you're feeling stuck or you're feeling incapacitated by fear or by these challenges, any progress is still progress. And if we work on things day in and day out and be consistent with them, you can make great progress, you know, a slow clip at a time. And we celebrate that progress.
Mm.
And a lot of the work that we do, we make progress within the session, within the moment, within the coaching. And what that does is shifting that focus to the progress you can make, albeit if it's small, but it's still progress,
Mhm.
starts to remind you and reassure you you are capable. You have the resources. You can do it.
Mhm.
You'll get to your goal. Don't worry about the time yet. We'll get there. But acknowledge the fact that you already made some success and some forward movement.
Yeah, I think understanding that you're on the right path
Right.
is sometimes better and much more, carries a lot more weight than the end result,
Yeah.
right? Because we know that there will be an end result. Hopefully, it will be good. And then in that path, in the way to be having that good end result, you will be able to recognize patterns within yourself that, long term you'll be able to maybe shift or change or, tweak to really get bigger and better end results
Yeah.
just on your own.
Yeah. And one thing I'm doing as the coach is seeing the goal, right? What is the future result you want? But what are your actions and behaviors today in this moment that are going to enable that success? So I'm connecting those two endpoints, where they are today, where they are navigating right now. Well, what are your actions, behaviors, and thoughts that will lead you to that result? And it's, again, that's progress right there.
Right. Oh, that's pretty awesome. That's amazing. And do you get a lot of resistance initially, or when you try to get people to through this sort of reflective journey?
Sometimes you get some resistance, but it's apparent, and it's not really resistance to me, it's resistance to their own barriers and their own self-inflicted, cages, if you will, that they've built around. And we all have them. We all have our self-inflicted barriers that we've built around ourselves to keep us feeling safe and secure. And anytime you have an aspiration and you're like, oh yeah, but I can't do that, and you feel like you're making an excuse for any ambition you want, that those are those barriers in play. And the resistance really comes from when someone doesn't acknowledge that.
Hmm.
But then I call them out and say, well, what's really holding you back? And
Hmm.
then usually they laugh, and it's like, well, it's my own thoughts and my own, I get it, my own thing.
Right.
But once you experience that breakthrough,
Hmm.
again, it happens very often. Once you experience that, you build that confidence, you build that capacity that you have the resources to achieve what you want to achieve and
Hmm.
make that progress. And then the resistance starts to wane away. And
Hmm.
then you're on a whole new level. And then you're making strides, and people are looking back, and it's like, wow, look at the progress they made in just a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And that's what I love the most about coaching. I mean, just seeing the personal and professional growth that people make because they are breaking through their own self limitations.
Yeah, no, it's pretty amazing what a coach can do.
Yeah.
And so, kudos to you for really
Thank
being
you.
able to use your talents to help the industry, directly or indirectly, because it's definitely sorely needed. And as a practicing dentist, I can vouch for that we need it. We don't have, sometimes all the pillars that we need, or we have them, but we don't really know them, or we haven't really met them. And it's really great to have somebody like you who's a coach who helps us to discover some of our hidden paths, so to speak,
Yeah.
and get them out in the open. Because, if we can be better leaders, and not just better leaders, we can be better, better for our patients. We are better for, our family too. Is just you end up being all in all much more present
Mm.
and less reactive. Um, I think leader is what we are all struggling with many, many times. And I think it's really important what you're doing. So thank you for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I like to say I specialize on the human side of business leadership and
Mhm.
navigating those emotions and those barriers and all of that. And it does, overflow into different aspects of our lives. And really, my driving motivation is just doing something directly for someone else and seeing someone else's progress and leaning into those values that I have for helping somebody else and being outward. And that's my passion is wanting to see someone else succeed.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, if people want to reach out to you, Thomas, how can they get access
Sure.
to what you're doing and to ascend professional pathways?
Great. Thank you. So two ways are great. One, my website, ascendpropathways.com. My company's called Ascend Professional Pathways, but the website is ascendpropathways.com. There's my email on there, and then a message board. You can connect with me there, or I'm really active on LinkedIn. So find me on LinkedIn, and I'm sure you'll have the in the notes here. Just send me a message on LinkedIn, and I'll respond. And I'd love to offer anyone who's listening, if you're interested in any of my coaching and leadership development programs, I will offer 5% off for any of those programs. Just reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. I'll tell you more about it. But just mention that you found me on the Pulse podcast, and we'll have that conversation, and I'll give you 5% off.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that, for the gift. It
Sure.
really, it means a lot. And I hope that that will encourage our listeners to to take that first step into discovering, into getting a coach, because it is really important to have a coach that appreciates and also talks about the emotional piece of being a leader, and how to best navigate through it. Because a lot of people just talk about, I'm practiced by numbers, so they just talk about numbers. But, it's great to know the numbers, and it's very, very important to know and understand those numbers, but then how to communicate the importance of those numbers to your teams. That's where emotional leadership kind of comes into play.
Yeah.
And it's great to have somebody like you who can help, take care of that piece of leadership and communication.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's my service to others. So I'm honored to be here, and honored to have this passion to help other people. So thank you so much.
Thank you.